Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Elizabeth George, Director of Member Engagement and Chapter Development. And I don't think I need to tell you anything more. I hope by now we know each other. I'm really glad that you could be with us today. This webinar came about from the information that I received in reviewing the results of the Chapter Insight survey that so many of you diligently filled out in April. And there were two things that resonated with me when I read the results of it. One was the chapter leaders wanted more resources and training. So I have with me today, I have two team members, James Thomashower, our executive director, and Molly Davey, our membership coordinator, who are also going to help us as we go through this tour of the website to find some of the hidden gems that I think you may not be aware of. This is also being recorded, so I will send out a link to the recording after it's been uploaded to our website, and we'll go through where these recordings are being stored so you know anyway. And as well, I want this to be really interactive. I know I've spoken with some of you about posting questions. You can post them in the Q&A box at the bottom of the screen. You can post them in the chat if you want. Molly is going to be monitoring both. And as I go through this tour, we don't want to wait till the end of this for you to ask questions. Stop and ask questions, and we can also unmute you so we can actually have a conversation. That's the whole point of this. It's going to be very free flowing, but by what? We're at 4 o'clock, 4:03 Eastern Daylight Time. By 5:03, an hour later, wherever you are, I want you to feel as though you've come away with some valuable information and resources. So we're going to take a little tour of the AGO website. And that address is www.agohq.org. And we have a lot of sliders on these on the website. And I'm not sure if you know it, but these are all click-throughs. So if I click through OrganFest, for example, it's going to take me to OrganFest 2021. And there's also another, there's another area, another link here that'll take you to actually the recording. So these are, it's not intuitive. You wouldn't know, for example, at least I didn't know, maybe you're smarter than I am, and that could very well be the case, that by clicking through, you get more information. So let's start with the resources. We've got our homepage, we've got about, we've got news, and then if you hover your cursor over this membership tab and scroll down, you will find our chapter leadership toolkits. Now these basically, a lot of the information that you're going to see was culled from the chapter management handbook. So it's going to be recognizable to you, but I felt that it was important to be giving you things in bite-sized pieces that were easy to digest and use. So what I want to start with, first of all, because I think it's really important, is we have membership dashboards here, and I'm going to have to stop sharing for a second because I need to share the dashboard in a separate screen. Here we go. So this is a snapshot of where we are each month, and we're a month behind because Leah Semikin, our chapter relations manager, really has to reconcile, and Molly need to reconcile who's dropped, who's joined, and it takes a month past the actual date to be able to do that. So here's who we have for May. We have 50 new members. And I know that this is going to increase with our young organist now that we have our Year of the Young Organist initiative in place and our chapter challenge in place, a recruitment contest. But I just want you all to think of something. And I know this has been a difficult year to recruit. So if we were starting now, let's forget about the last 15 months. If each chapter recruited 5 members, we've got 280 chapters. If each chapter recruited 5 members, look at where we would be. We would not be losing the amount of members that we are losing annually. Just something to keep in the back of your mind. And when we go back to the toolkits, I'm going to share with you some resources we have for recruitment. So this pie chart, and kudos to Leah Semikin, because she has increased the content that is on this dashboard each month, and it really does tell a story. We could give you an Excel spreadsheet, which would probably, I don't know, put you to sleep very quickly. So a dashboard, I think, gives you much more robust information. Shows new members by category, current members by category, and member counts by region. And I will also start including member counts by chapter each month so that you can see that. And then down here, we just have another a visual of looking at it. So that here are some different visuals. So I really do think, and then we reinstate members, which is why we have that month afterwards to be able to do this. And then the lapsed members still have a 3-month grace period. So it shows where we are 1 month out, 2 months out, 3 months out. And this goes back actually all the way to the beginning of the year. But these are, each one is on the website on the toolkits. So we'll go back there. They're right here. So you can get to any of them here. If we click on chapter management and governance, what I've tried to do first and foremost is put any teaching webinars at the top of the subject. So for example, management and governance really is for those of you serving as deans. And we did a wonderful webinar in October of 2020 about the benefits and challenges of serving as a dean with Carl Brune, with Sue Mitchell-Wallace, and with Sky Hart, who is our West region counselor. So you've got that, you've got handouts. These resources down here are how to update the officer roster, responsibilities of serving as team, chapter election and voting procedures, the values and benefits of serving as a chapter leader, sample board meeting, consent agenda, a strategic plan template, and an exercise, and then a sample of chapter policies from the San Diego chapter and their operating procedures. So these are all resources that you can use. If we go to membership, recognize, renew, and using OnCard, we have another webinar that was done last October that Molly did with Eric Burke, our executive assistant, on dues and reconciliation, how to use OnCard. And we're actually going to modify this, and you will see coming up, I think we're going to retitle this webinar, Everything You Need to Know or Ever Wanted to Know About OnCard. And Molly is pretty much going to be there to take you through, guide you through pulling reports as a treasurer, pulling reports as a registrar, pulling reports as a membership coordinator or a dean. So again, it talks about the responsibilities of registrar and membership coordinator. So we have some handouts here as well. Under membership onboarding, there's a sample welcome email letter that you could use, that you could customize to welcome new members that have joined your chapter. There's a script for a phone call if you have someone who each month makes a phone call to welcome new members, which I think would be a wonderful thing to do. And a way to recognize new members at a chapter program. And this is something that you might think, oh, duh, really? We don't do this. But I went to one of the last few live events that I went to was a wonderful program. And I don't think they're going to get mad if I call them out. That was presented by the Sacramento Valley chapter. It was beautiful. It was absolutely gorgeous. But it would have been even better if, when the person that came up to welcome had said, do we have any visitors here? If so, raise your hand or stand up. Do we have any new members here? If so, please stand up, raise your hand. Things like that, I think, are really engaging. They make people feel valued and respected. And you can do this during a virtual program as well. So again, some resources for you here. Recruitment, this is something I do want to show you. Many of you have seen it, but I think some of you have not. This is a chapter flyer that was recreated. Oh my, this was created probably last fall. If not, it might have even been earlier than that. What you need to do, this gives you the opportunity to enter your contact name, who's in charge of if you want someone to contact you with more information about your chapter, their position, your chapter name, your email, your phone, your website. You could probably also put your Facebook page here. What you have to do first in order to manipulate this is download it and save it. You can't just use this form that we're sharing, this flyer, online. But the wonderful thing about this is that it can be used as a handout at live programs, or it can be used digitally when you are recruiting new members. So that was something that I wanted to go over with you. We also have a sample chapter renewal email, a thank you for renewing your membership. Under programming, we have a wonderful webinar that was done in April about reigniting, reimagining, and reemerging from COVID-19. And several chapter leaders who had begun to discuss this during Leadership 2021 shared what they were doing, some kind of unique, different programming for the upcoming year. Some were using drones for organ crawls. I think the Austin chapter had a movable digital organ that they were bringing into parking lots of churches. So there's some wonderful, what I've tried to do with each webinar that we have planned is to put it under the respective topic. We also have a Zoom checklist. I know you've been Zooming a lot. You may not want to Zoom anymore, but my guess is that you will continue to do some Zooming. Duties of the education coordinator. Here's an example of a program budget worksheet. You have an evaluation survey that you could give out to people who have attended your in-person meetings or your virtual meetings. And if you're not tracking them, I would encourage you to set up some sort of registration page so that you can really see how many people are attending your events. Programming resources and guidelines. A flyer that the Tulsa chapter did, and then additional chapter programming ideas. We go down to finance. Jeff Verkylen did a wonderful webinar on June 14th, the top 4 things that your chapter must do to be financially responsible. Here we go. That links right to the webinar. There's the handout. As well, John Dixon, our counselor for finance, did a very funny webinar doing a riff on Paul Simon, 50 ways to leave your lover. And James was on that as well. There must be 50 ways to raise some money, looking beyond the walls of your chapter. May 3rd, we did a robust chapter scholarships program. What I thought was excellent, and I had someone ask me to point me to this direction of where they could find this. The do-re-mis of website design that was presented in April by our technology committee was just amazing. And Michelle, oh, I'm drawing a blank on her last name.
Lemus.
Thank you. Thank you. She did an analysis of every single chapter website and cited about 11 that she thought were really wonderful. Thank you, James. That's why we're a team here. So, I mean, this is just a great, great webinar. If you haven't looked at it, I encourage you to do so. Here's where all the chapter leadership newsletters are stored. We should probably archive some of those going back from 2020. And then additional social media resources, a lot of Facebook Live, Instagram, and then core audiences, custom audiences. And we have some handouts from Leadership 2021. So I did see one question in the Q&A. Molly, let's take a look at that. Is there an index of all the resources? Jeff, I'm not sure what you mean like that, like at the top of the page, just having an index of what you'd see point by point. No, but that's something that we could do. We could certainly do. I will say God willing, with our new website that is coming, and I know you've heard this before, but we have narrowed down our two new databases. We have two that we're really seriously considering, and they kind of go together. The website goes with the database. You can't do one without the other. So once we start working on our new software, our association software, we will be able to update this website so that you're not scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. There might actually be an opportunity for two questions. What do we have in the chat box here? Many times I wish, yes, a search box. Okay, James, here you go. This is yours.
All right. So first of all, I need to correct my blurt out of Michelle's last name. It's really Thomas, Michelle Thomas, who's on our Information Technology Committee, and her middle name is Klima,
Right.
K-L-I-M-A. So it's Michelle Klima Thomas. All right. Many times I wish there would be a search box. Every page has a search box. Every page of the website has a search box. So here we are at the top of the chapter leadership toolkits, and on the right-hand side, so we're not sharing my screen, but we're sharing, I guess, Elizabeth's. Elizabeth,
all right.
There we go. Thank you. So on the right-hand side, search this website. There's the search box. And if you have to put things in quotes for best results, whatever you do, please put it in quotes. It just makes it much more effective. But you can search for anything you want. As you can see, all these searches that Elizabeth has done before are in quotes. So you can search for anything and stuff will come up. We are actually working on
webinars and workshops.
Webinars and workshops. Scroll down, there it is. We're working on trying to make the search box better. If you also go to the bottom of the page, at the footer, all the way to the bottom of every page of the website, we'll scroll all the way to the bottom. There we go. And there's a search box too. So on the footer of every single page, and the left-hand side, it says search, same search box, same function, just a different place for it, but it's on every single page. So happy to kind of bring that one to your attention. You see the search help, by the way, in that box. If you scroll back down again, Elizabeth,
put double quotation marks. Yep.
Yeah, put double quotation marks around multi-word searches, and then hit enter to process the search. The search, by the way, we've been talking with our chief technology officer about this to see if we can make a better search. The search box can either search by the date on which the page was put up, or by, it's not relevance, it's either the date or, I forget the second option, but we have it, I think, set on date at the moment, as opposed to whatever that second option is. I'm sorry, I forgot that. In any event, we're going to try and fine tune the search box, make it better. Yep, you're welcome.
Okay, let's go back to this membership drop-down drop-down menu. So here we've got the Year of the Young Organist Recruitment Contest. And this has been written about. We first started in July, and we want you to recruit members. And by chapter size, one award of $1,000 will go up to one small chapter up to 60 members, one medium 61 to 125, and 126 plus for large chapters. You have the potential to win $1,000 for your chapter. And I think that's a pretty good chunk of change that I'm sure many of you are thinking now of ways that you could use that money. So what we want to do is we want to give you a tip each month so that you have recruitment. So the first one was tip number 1, contact the teachers in your area, share the link, the Year of the Young Organist, the free membership link, and then pull your report from OnCard each month so that you can see how successful you were, because you're going to be able to see if you have new young organists that have joined. August 21st, tip number 2, to promote this, and this is really cool, and I'll take you back up. There's a flyer, but this is a QR code that actually takes you to the page of the free membership. Yes, Elizabeth George, not necessarily a technology whiz, was able to create a QR code. Now, you also have here a flyer you can use. Can everybody see this? Is it visible? Okay. So here's the flyer. And again, this is something that you can send, you can hand out at a program, or you can send digitally. It talks about all of the master classes and webinars that we have a Year of Young Organist committee that has really been focusing on emerging young organists and what are most important that they are going to need at this stage in their career. And then the Organ Scholarship Program. So this is here as well. So I wanted to make you aware from that. Molly, can you check our Q&A and see what else has been? We have another question, another chat.
Sure. So the question is, I entered, quote, chapter webinars and no results found. I have not been successful using the search box.
Huh. Okay.
I was just writing a response to that.
Okay.
And I was saying, the search box is not perfect. Try a different approach. Just try searching on webinars, and see if that works better. So we don't always have the search functionality working exactly as we would like. This is a WordPress plugin for a search box, and that's how it is. So you just have to experiment. If at first you don't succeed, just try webinars, and I'm sure you'll get a lot more. If you do webinars and workshops, something like that, it should provide a better result. Just have to be patient with it. It's
Okay.
imperfect. We agree.
What I do want to point you over to now is to education. And there under the drop-down menu are our webinars. And these are our upcoming webinars. You can see today's webinar, Friday, July 30th. Shannon Four, who is one of our district conveners and who really is an acquisition specialist. He has a very key job in marketing in his day job, and he's really going to talk about how you grow your membership, and particularly during this time when, as we're emerging from COVID, what can we do? How can we approach people? So again, from the Insight survey, it was training webinars. Today is a training webinar for really everyone who serves as a chapter officer or chapter leader. This one on membership is for membership coordinators and registrars, growing your membership. We've got one on officer training, reconciliation of chapter dues and income records for chapter treasurers, registrars, and membership coordinators. This is the one we're going to change a little bit. I think it's really just going to be a deep dive into on-card with Q&A with our on-card specialist, Molly Davey. So that title may change a little. Here's a great one. This is for sub-deans and those in charge of programming, chapter programming ideas for the upcoming years. We're going to have a cross-section of some sub-deans and deans from small, medium, and large chapters, and they're going to discuss what they're planning. And we want you to attend this because we want you to comment and say, okay, here's what I'm doing, so that this is interactive. Down here, these are the past webinars. So we have webinars for professional development. Yes, these arrows are collapsible menus. Once you click on them, all of the past webinars for professional development come up. And our most recent one, and I encourage you, if you didn't have a chance to watch this, Returning to the New Normal, Identifying Recovery Processes and Taking the Time to Grieve, that was presented a week ago last Monday, was very, very moving and very touching. And I've gotten so many wonderful responses this past week in emails. So I encourage you, if you haven't watched it, take a moment to watch it. You could even use it as a monthly program during the summer when you aren't meeting, if you want something to keep your chapters connected. So we've got, again, webinars on continuing education, the new Oxford method that was presented in June, the series that was done in the fall on improvisation, group teaching organ strategies, and then webinars supporting chapter leadership. Again, here I'm trying to add these here as well as on the Toolkits page, and they go back quite a ways. And then our webinars that we started on technology, my Lord, in April of 2020. And by this point, I think you're all pretty knowledgeable about that. But if you aren't, you can go back. Now, I want to show you one other thing that I forgot to mention that is important. Oh boy, do I hate this. Okay, here we go. Online programming for chapters. I've asked you, and some of you have very, very diligently shared what you're planning. So for example, this is super cool, and I haven't updated the link. The Springfield chapter, God bless them, this past Saturday, through a recording and live Q&A, met with, I believe it's Olivier Latry, who is the organist at the Cathedral of Notre Dame. Talk about an incredible webinar. So again, these are all, the live link will be here, but these are all links that you can use. These are programs that you can use for your chapter, so you're not reinventing the wheel. There as well, there are organ crawls here. You all did some wonderful organ crawls. New York City chapter has done about 10 of them. Albuquerque chapter did one. So there are tons of organ crawls here. Chapter recitals, here's where we're putting your most recent recitals. And if you don't see yours here, please send it to me and we will add it. So we've got chapter recitals. And then as well, and we're scrolling down and down and down and down, I believe then there are regional recitals. So we've got some of those. Agoyo's Fridays at noon, they did a bunch of wonderful recitals. And you can just go to their YouTube page and find all of these topics. And Facebook Live, David Enlow last summer did a lot of really wonderful, wonderful workshops, like 15-minute workshops that are great. And we probably need to add more of these. So I did want to make you aware of that. Okay, we've got more comments in the chat box. Let's take a look at these. The quickest way, wait a second. The quickest way to find the chapter dean's list is the footer on every page of our website. Thank you, James. It's the only way to obtain contact information for any chapter leaders. Where did Elizabeth just find this program list, this chapter program list? Okay, we're gonna go through this again. We went to membership. We went to chapter leader, chapter leader toolkits, and we went down to online programming for chapters. And here are the collapsible menus, as I just described them, of chapter workshops, organ crawls, recitals. 9 times out of 10, this membership tab is going to give you what you want. But again, if you want to register for a webinar, you're going to need to come over to education and the webinars page. Now, one other thing, and I don't know, it looks like I don't see any more chat in the chat box or Q&A. Here's something else that I want to make you aware of. Okay, the new Organist. This is not intuitive. You wouldn't have known to find this. But if your chapter is thinking about initiating the Achievement Awards program, this is where you'd find information about the Achievement Awards. And it goes, there's an overview of each award and a downloadable flyer that you can use. And then there are instructions, because this program requires that you have a chapter mentor and a candidate. And I want to say it was in last month's chapter leader newsletter that Sarah Haar, who is a regional program coordinator, but also dean of the Chattanooga chapter, she did an experiment. She did some of this online, did some virtual online training using one component of this Achievement Awards. So, and it's interesting, she shared what was successful and the challenges. But so this is where this is, and we'd love for you to use this, because I keep hearing that there are people who are substitute organists or who are part-time organists who would be intimidated to take the certifications process. this is something that's geared towards those who are part-time organists or substitute organists, or who are beginning organists and want to improve their organ skills. And I really encourage you to consider using this program this year. It's a wonderful program. Congratulations to the Central Hudson Valley chapter. There's a photo of Laura Russell and the chapter dean giving an award to a young student who achieved one of the awards. So just want to go over that page with you. What else haven't we covered? Molly and James. Oh, chat one. Okay. Southern Arizona did a program, Meet Your Chaplain, this spring. I could not find any historical information on the headquarters website about this position from its inception. Did you send me the link to it? Because if that's what you're referencing, we don't have it, and we'd love to post it. If you're talking about historical information about how the AGO came about to including a chaplain as part of their leadership board, James, you can probably answer this better than I can.
That's how did the AGO come about having a chaplain? I couldn't answer that question, but the model chapter operating procedures certainly acknowledge the existence of a chaplain as a position that any chapter might consider having, just as the national organization has a chaplain. We have a national chaplain. So chaplains have been a part of the AGO for as long as I can, for as long as I know, for as long as I can remember, and well beyond. But I don't know exactly the history of when the first chaplain was recognized, either at a chapter level or at the national level. The Senate has a chaplain, or Congress has a chaplain too. Militaries have chaplains. It's very common to have chaplains. But I don't know if that answers the question that Janet asked. Janet, have we addressed your question? We don't necessarily have information about every
Yes.
program of every chapter.
Oh, Diane, thank you. Okay, I appreciate that. The laughter, I can't wait to watch it. I really can't wait to watch it. I'm very excited about this. And thank you for sharing that new link. I mean, that just is super, really, really super.
One thing,
Okay.
Elizabeth, that I did want to address was
Yeah.
the footer. Just wanted to kind of go through what's in the footer
Sure,
on every page. So
let's go back.
yeah, if you want to just put up the footer, we can just take a look at the line items in there because they're good things.
And
Right, so we have the mission.
I'll be honest with you all, it took me a while to find these.
Yeah, well, it's on every single page of the website, literally every page. So if you just scroll up a little bit so I can see the missions at the top of the footer. There you go. So you always have the mission statement there. We don't have the vision statement on the footer, but we do have the mission statement. On the left is a link, just stop a second, please. On the left is a link to the lessons for the new organist. That's the 30 lessons for the new organist. So you can get to all 30 of them right from that link. And it should take you to the new organist page that has the lessons for the new organist. These are quick, underneath that, connect. These are quick ways to get to Facebook. And I think that's Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Twitter, YouTube. So quick links. And then the search box. Then we go on, and again, these are all quick links to take you to places on our website that address the Achievement Awards, the Goyo, antitrust compliance, one of my favorite topics. Ask the Organ Builder, that one's kind of inactive. We used to have a regular thing there. I'm not even sure where that would go now. But if you want to change your address individually, if you want to see the chapter deans list, that gives you two options, either by state, alphabetically by state, or by region. Two ways to find whatever chapter contact information you want about a chapter dean. Chapter documents, we can look at that in a minute, but that's another resource. Every chapter has liability insurance paid for by AGO National Headquarters.
Yeah,
And
someone had asked me about that. So is this visible? Can you see that? Okay. Yeah.
Epic Insurance is our provider currently. They've gone through a couple of name changes. It was originally Old National Insurance and then Only Risk Partners. That same group, but now they're called Epic Insurance. They've been bought out. But every chapter is covered, has liability insurance, but it's paid for by AGO National Headquarters. The plan, as you can see, the plan provides up to $2 million per occurrence with a $2 million annual aggregate to each chapter. No deductible. Pretty fantastic coverage that national headquarters pays for. And if you want, if you want insurance for a particular event or proof of insurance, the chapter request for a certificate, you can get that
Sometimes
by.
churches ask for that. I know that they have asked for
Yeah.
that.
Abby Grimm does a good job for us at Epic. You can call her for assistance, but there's a form. I think there's a link to the form. Is it further down, perhaps on this page? Yeah, well, there's the form. So you can fill out this form and send it to Abby Grimm, and she'll send you a certificate of insurance.
So there we go.
It's only risk partners at the bottom. We got to update that. It's Epic Insurance now.
Now, for some of you are going, oh my goodness, why are the salary guidelines?
Right.
Still
So the
there?
salary guidelines, it's there because we want you to know that they're discontinued. We're not just giving up on the words. The words still exist, but this makes the point that we no longer have them. We can't have them. Same thing with the model contract provisions, and explains why. And if you scroll over, Elizabeth, to under about, to the about thing.
Where
Actually,
are
it's the news. I'm sorry, on the top, in the top navigation bar, click on news. News, let's go to news. And if you go down to antitrust compliance and highlight that, if anybody wants to dig in to why we can't have salary guidelines, if you look at the PDF, the third one down, the decision and order,
Mhm.
that document, it's a lot to read. I read it
I'm
many
not going to
times.
open it now.
Don't open it. Don't open it. But if you ever want to understand why we can't have salary guidelines, the answer is in this decision and order issued by the Federal Trade Commission. It's all there.
But
So let's,
now here's the alternative, if I may, because this is something good that we want you to see, James. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
no, go ahead.
We have
Oh,
this
good.
wonderful new handbook, Employing Musicians. It's such a great resource. If you click on this, you can download it. And it really talks about a variety of things, calculating weekly hours, ideas for organists seeking employment, getting paid the right way, career advice, starting a career advocacy for part-time musicians. So there are so many great resources in this that I think really are going to help you when you are negotiating a salary and when you're being interviewed. So I just wanted to make sure that was covered as well. We in the chat box, what do we have? Also ordained a priest since being a dean. Wait a second. Okay. For chapter program held at a member's home, does the insurance cover that? That's a good question, James.
I would say yes,
Yep.
absolutely. So the insurance covers any chapter event, no matter where it's held, whether it's in a church or a person's home or under a tent somewhere. Yes.
Okay. All right. What haven't we covered? Or what?
We could go back to the footer just to finish up because we sort of
Oh,
left the
I'm
footer.
sorry.
We're halfway through the footer. You can throw it back up.
Okay.
You can, yeah, this is a good spot. Just go all the way down. You'll get it because it's on every page. So let's go down here. Okay. We were insurance for AGO members, official guild documents. That's a big one. Same thing as up above, but here.
These are
right?
all collapsible menus.
Right. Exactly. National operating procedures and so on.
The AGO, so we have the logo. This is, and you may have seen this in the toolkits, and it's at the top of the page, but you need a password. And I think Mary Eileen Johnston, who is the Dean of the Southeastern Pennsylvania chapter, unfortunately received a letter with our new logo and letterhead from someone. I don't know if they were soliciting money. This was several months ago when we put these up. So now we've made them password protected because it's just unbelievable what some people will do. But, there have been a lot of scams going on. So You just need to email me, Molly, anybody, call us. We'll give you the password to use it.
Right. Or Eric Burke knows it too.
Eric Burke, yep, yep.
Good. So we're back down. Let's just stay on this for a quick minute. Official guild documents. We're talking about pipe organ encounters. Has a lot there. Positions available if you want to apply for a job or post a job. Either one. That's positions available whether you're applying or posting. Privacy policy does exist. We talked about salary guidelines. Strategic growth plan is where we are. Is our current 2018 to 2021 strategic growth plan. And there is the basis for it. And then here are the goals and strategies of this. This is it. So supporting our vision and mission, this is it. This is the strategic growth plan. And if we go down to the bottom of it, I think you can click on it to see it in the PDF form. But this is it. This is our here it is.
Yeah.
So as a PDF, same text, you can click on it. Read the ages.
Yep.
Exact same text. This is a 2-page document. This is formatted very nicely. And it was back before we had the new seal. So if you scroll down, this is kind of the background for it.
These are really, this is really great.
Yeah, and the second page, goals and strategies. This is it. You can stop right there for a second. This is the strategic growth plan for 18 to 21. And see, we're trying to implement these things. Increase opportunities for chapter leaders to easily share ideas and best practices. That was webinars. Enhance and expand chapter support services. That's exactly what we're trying to do. The first item, we have this sort of on hold, create and administer an assessment to measure chapter vitality. We've talked about that. We have sort of a draft in place, but we're working on a way to do that. That is not threatening. That is not meant to upset any chapter. We want it to be a positive experience. So actually we are in process with that, but nothing finalized yet. Anyway, these are our goals and strategies for the 3-year period, 18 to 21. We've accomplished some, others still have to be done. And we're refreshing this for 2021 to 2024. Cross out the things we've done, highlight the ones we haven't that are still important, do some new ones. You see that? Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you want me to?
That's fine. Let's go down to the bottom one more time onto the footer. And we have professional links on the right-hand side. So we do have a page of links if you want to find organ builders and associations. Organ Live takes you to that link to that program. More links to other organ and choral music organizations, other professional associations, a link to Pipe Dreams, a link to Spreckles, and a link to Vox Humana, with which we are associated. And then a reminder on every page of our website, scammers are everywhere and chapter officers need to be vigilant. Don't respond to requests to send funds unless you know for sure that the request is valid. All we can do is put it on every page of our website in this footer. So please, 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 please be vigilant about scammers and remind your colleagues that they are tricky and they're out there and they're trying to get us. My goodness, they are relentless, these scammers. What they will do, they just have no conscience and no ethics, no morals. They're just out to grab you, get your money. Terrible. Molly, anything you want to add? We've been talking, Elizabeth and I have been chatting. Anything you want us to focus on?
No, I was just here to kind of answer any questions that I could. And if there are things that you want to find on the website, please put them in the chat and we'll show you how to get there.
Yeah, please do. And if, what haven't we given you? What other resources do you need? We've been talking a lot as we go through our series of strategic planning for the next 3 years. I'm a firm believer, and we've all had this discussion, there's not a one-size-fits-all membership, nor is there a one-size chapter fits all. And for small chapters, we realize that there are probably other different resources that you need. Are we asking too much of you? Are we, for all of you, no matter what size it is? Are there other things that you need? I would suggest a training on how to build an audience for let me put that up again.
Concert series.
How to build an audience. Okay.
So is that a membership? Then, because a question, that's an interesting one. Is that meant to be, Diane, a program to support individual members who want to build audiences for their individual concert series? Or are you thinking that a chapter would have a concert series? I don't know that many chapters have, I mean, they have program years where they have different, recitalists, whatever, but that's not quite the same as a concert series. So I'm not sure what you had in mind.
Actual concert series where you would build, if you don't have an audience for organ recitals and you start off with 20 people, what are some of the things you can do as a chapter and individually, and audience building, so that by the end of a year or a year and a half or 2 years, you've got 5 times the number of people who came to your first one.
Right.
Not,
Great.
that we don't have a lot of PR experts in our boards. These are all volunteers who, just don't have that experience.
This
We
is a
have a
good one.
document.
And I'm going to have Shannon Ford talk about this in growing your membership, because he really talks about outreach and looking beyond the walls of your chapter and who to contact, how to contact. So this is really good. And congratulations. I say, Mary Eileen says Southeastern Pennsylvania is having a series this year. I know the Charlotte chapter has one in the summer every year. And, it is a way, because it expands, it helps you grow your audience. And from that, there are organ lovers. They may not play the organ, they may not play the piano, and they may not be choral directors. They might just simply love the music. And it's a recruitment opportunity. So thank you. And Mary, yeah, we invite other chapters nearby in neighboring parishes. Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Shannon's going
And
to
a
talk
paint rate.
about that.
Excellent. Thank you
It's
for
like-
doing that. And some of the people who may not be organists may have disposable money too.
There you go.
Absolutely.
That's what John Dixon talked about, is 50 ways to get some money. So cool. Awesome.
Anna, our former regional convention coordinator for the Southeast region, has raised her hand. I believe it's Southeast, but I could be wrong. Kenna, is that you? We see a raised hand, Kenna? We get Kenna.
I don't.
It says Kenna Payne raised hand. There we go.
Molly, I don't see that on my screen. Do you see it?
I see it. Can you unmute, Kenna?
I thought I did. Okay. Am I
Okay.
unmuted now?
Yes.
Okay, thanks, Molly. I'm with the Richmond, Virginia chapter. We have a recital series that, until COVID shut us down last year, was over 50 years in production. 3 to 4 a year from all over the world, quite honestly. We usually get some international people. And I think if you're starting off, the key thing is to keep very good track of who your donors are and thank them every time. With every program should be a list. We only mail one solicitation every year in May. So our recitals run from the fall through the spring. So we get the word out on the concerts in May. We follow up on people that have contributed in the past that haven't contributed this year, just to make sure they haven't forgotten us. And we have found that in the absence of free advertising in newspapers, it's worth to run, in our newspaper, it's called an ear tag ad. It appears in the very top of the first page of the culture section, like on Tuesday and Thursday before the concert. And the number of people that spot that ear tag ad and say, I wouldn't have known about this if I didn't know, if I hadn't read this, it's been amazing. And then you have them fill out on the brochure and give us your name and address. We'll send you more information. And of course, we send them the solicitation letter. So you just, we have our partners with us of the churches where we're actually doing the recitals. It's chapter wide, so we rotate among churches. But those churches do really good work on PR work. So we see a lot of people attending from their churches, and just anything you can do. You get on the local TV station morning talk show, anything that you can that's free, and thank the donors always. So
Kenna, this sounds like a topic for another webinar. I'm thinking about this.
We get about $10,000, $10,000 to $15,000 a year with just one mailed solicitation and just thanking people. And you can count on the same people time after time. We don't solicit sponsorships or anything. We disclose graded levels of contribution in the program. But of course, the benefit to us is we've been in business for over 50 years on this. So that's not something that a startup's going to have. But keep your donor list very clean, every detail on it, and thank people all the time.
Excellent.
Great advice. There's a document that I thought was on our website, and I was looking for it just now, couldn't find it. And it may be just because it's not there or we'd never put it up. But we used to distribute a document from the home, from AGO National Headquarters, that was how to conduct a concert series, as I recall. How to do it, how to put on a concert series for organists. And I believe it was created by Truck and Broad artists. It was one of the management companies, either Truck and Broad or McFarland, but I think it was Truck and Broad. And it's a wonderful booklet, a pamphlet on how to start a concert series. Everything you need to know about starting and funding and managing and overseeing a concert series. So if Harold Calhoun, our staff colleague, were on the call, he would be able to give us the correct chapter and verse of this thing. But I know it's out there, and I would trying to think of how to get it to everybody on this webinar. What best way to do it? But
Well,
we have
a
email.
registration list. We have a registration
Yeah, we have
list.
all right. We're going to find that document, and we're going to send you all either the link to it if it's online, or at least the name and name it. If you want to order it, it might be 50 cents or $1 or something from AGO National Headquarters, assuming we still have it in stock. But I'm sure it exists. I can visualize it.
Am I unmuted? Okay,
Yeah,
out of our
unmuted.
three or four concerts a year, we always go to Truck and Broad, and we alternate between them and the other big concert series. And it's in their best interest to help you because they're providing people. And when we contract with them for that kind of service, we don't have to worry about W-9s or travel or anything. They take care of it. So one concert a year at least is always with one of those management groups. And it's nice to not have to worry about an awful lot, and you get the top, the cream of the crop. And as I said, it's in their best interest to help you become successful. Let's put it that way. So they may have something. Truck and Broad has changed recently. So there you go.
Thank you. The wheels are turning because I'm thinking we need a webinar about this. Can Mary Eileen and Diane, I got you. I know where to find you. So, but so anyway, are there any other questions? Any other comments? If you think of things after we end this webinar that you would like to see us have up on our website, other resources, other webinars, please let me know. But our goal is really now to make sure you know where to find things. So please share these. We'll have a recording of this, obviously, but I'm sorry, it would be useful to have a share button on pages of the website. I know what you mean. Like when I do this all the time, when I'll read an article in the New York Times and I want to share it with someone, an email will populate and I'll be able to send it to somebody. It's an interesting idea, and I bet we could do that on our new website. So if we have no more questions, I just want to thank you all for your leadership, for showing up, for all that you've done over the last 15 months to help your members stay connected. And, I think this is a very exciting time because as we come out of COVID, you kind of have a clean slate. There's a lot more that you maybe didn't think of doing or you want to do differently. So I encourage you to dare to be different. And maybe we need a webinar on dare to be different. Who knows? But thank you all again. Thank you, James. Thank you, Molly. Gary, thank you. I'm so glad everybody found this to be valuable. And it'll probably be uploaded onto our website. It'll be in the Chapter Leader Toolkits as well as on the webinar page. And I'll send the link out to you all tomorrow. But thank you so very much. Take care and be well.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Thanks, Molly. Bye-bye, everybody.